Hey, this is Lee from Serial Killer Dinner Party, and you're listening to Collision on 99.9 Voice FM. Yeah.
How are you, Lee?
Pretty good.
Pretty good? Of course you are.
Good.
You're up in Queensland. Yep. Why wouldn't you be?
Yeah, no, Queensland's a good spot to be in.
Seeing as I've mentioned that now, I should even now mention the fact that the reason I'm talking to you is because next weekend you're going to actually be in Melbourne.
That's right. We can't wait. This has been on the cards for a long time for us, and we try to just jump on any opportunity that we could to get down there, and the Gaston's asked us, so yeah, it was a pretty easy answer.
Right. So have you Serial Killer Dinner Party played in Melbourne before?
No, we haven't.
No.
Never played there at all.
So this is going to be a first. That's awesome.
Yep. No, I've never even been there actually.
Haven't you?
No. So look, absolutely pumped.
Yeah.
A bit nervous, but absolutely pumped. And you know, when we're a bit nervous is usually when we put on our best shows anyway. So yeah, we can't wait.
Well, I think in any creative field that when you're not getting nervous, it's probably time to quit.
Yeah, well, and then definitely it's not out. They're not ready to quit.
No, you should feel nervous because it's important to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you do, like, your second show is actually on the Saturday, and it is in the afternoon with Blind Man Death Stare at Whole Lot of Love. And it's free entry too, but what we'll have to do is we'll have to go for a tram ride after the gig because you've got to go on a tram ride while you're in Melbourne.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you've seen the new gig poster that we've made up, but it's graffiti on a tram in Melbourne, so yeah.
I don't know.
Can't wait to play with Blind Man Death Stare. I met Parker at a show when he was playing with Guttermouth when they were supporting that.
All right.
And kind of got along with him really well, and it's always been in our eyesight to try and get a show with Blind Man. So yeah, we're pretty stoked that they've been able to jump on board with us.
They're a pretty well known band, particularly around Victoria. I know they're a pretty well known band. They've been around for a while, haven't they?
Yeah, well, they're pretty big up here as well. They seem to come up here a bit, and the vocalist Parker, he actually used to live up here, so that's why he's got quite a lot of ties up here. And I actually first heard about him when I was actually looking Collision up, and when I looked them up, we realised that look, the Blind Man Death Stare's in there. So yeah, there's a little story for you.
Well, let's ask the story of Serial Killer Death Punch.
Nice one.
Serial Killer Dinner Party. Like, about how long have you guys been going? And I think you started the band, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I did start the band. Look, it's the songs have been around for a lot of the songs of this EP, let me say, have that we've just released. That they've been around for quite a while, and for about 10 years. So they were kind of just songs that I always sort of had on the back burner when I was in other bands and all the rest of it. And I took a bit of a break and decided to. Yeah, that was a pass. Sorry.
Oh, right.
But I'm outside. It's the only place I can get reception. Look, I took a bit of a break and for quite a while, and within that ended up, finding a missus and having a baby and stuff. And then I just turned around one day and I said, look, I'm going to start a band. And she kind of laughed at me. She didn't even know that I really played. And so, yeah, that was kind of the starts of Serial Killer Dinner Party, I guess. We didn't have a name, and as any band starts, just advertised and found a couple of guys. And, we jammed out for a few years, and then I got my best mate over from Perth, which, he's been my mate for over 20 years, and we played in bands everywhere. So once he joined it, the band really started to become solid, and we started to get some good hooks in the band, and, we really started to gel.
Yeah.
So that was the first start. We started doing a few gigs and, jumping around like idiots and starting to get a bit of a name for ourselves, just doing live shows around Brizzy and the Gold Coast. And, we ran through a couple of issues. We lost our drummer and stuff like that, and lost another guitarist, And so we ended up being like a two-piece. So we really wanted to find another couple of lads to jump on, which ended up being Adam and Luke, which are the two newest members of Serial Killer Dinner Party. And, you know, that's us now. Like, and we've just written pretty much a whole new set list and put out the EP and just started going strong from there.
Great. And I'm going to ask you a really important question now. Do you actually live outside a bus stop?
Look, I live outside the beach, and everyone is, you know, at this time is just walking for a bit of a stroll on the beach. So it's a bit of a busy spot, but you know, fortunately, I actually live around islands as well. So you know, the beauty of that is one, that I get a good scenery, but the shit part of it is really bad reception. So I have to stand outside whenever I make a call or something.
Yeah, no, that's cool. It's just because the bus went past before and then I was hearing voices then, so I thought maybe they were the people who got off the bus.
Yeah, well, the good news is that'll be back soon too.
Ah, great. So let's get on with this then.
Yeah.
You just released your debut EP as well.
Yep. Well, that's been on the burner for a while, see, so it wasn't until the other boys got on that we really started getting our heads screwed on, and we really needed to release that EP. It had already been recorded. We just needed to get it out there. So yeah, that's going really good. We've gone number one on Triple J Unearthed with one of the songs and stuff like that. So yeah, it's getting a bit of attention.
Ah, cool. And I can't bloody remember the name of the EP now. Isn't that silly?
Yeah, you know what? That's good because I can't either. That's where I was fumbling. Going, fuck, what's the name of it?
Well, that makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah, I know that you need it.
That's the name. I know that you need it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, is your EP on iTunes?
Yeah, it's on all those things. Yeah, iTunes, Spotify, and
yeah. So that was actually released late last year. So I guess you're touring it up to Melbourne for as we said, the first time. What about other areas? Are you going to play in Sydney or do any other shows along the way?
Look, not along the way. It's a bit of a, you know, like, especially money-wise, like, it's pretty tight for us all to even sort of just get down to Melbourne.
Mm-hmm.
We try and travel, you know, within Queensland and northern New South Wales as much as possible. Like, the travel around there doesn't worry us. If we can do it, you know, quickly, then we don't mind doing it. But if we have to take time off work, or if it's going to, you know, involve, you know, too many dollars, then, you know, that's what sort of, you know, keeps us from you know, kind of touring as much as what we'd like to. But, you know, at the moment we've been booked out for a heap of gigs, you know, up until about June. So we wouldn't mind getting down to, you know, Sydney just after there, I think. Yeah. And see how it goes.
Well, the weather will still be all right in Sydney then. You wouldn't want to come to Melbourne then.
Yeah, I think we might be coming up there at a good time. At least it's sort of weather that we know.
Yeah, exactly. We've got your weather. Take it back with you. No. Well, I am actually looking at the I have seen it, but yeah, the poster you made with the graffiti on the tram, and that's for your Bombay Rock Show on the 8th of February.
Yeah.
That's with the, how do you say it? Do you say fuck-ups or is it just fuck-ups?
Well, I think you say what they intended. I just say the fuck-ups. I'm not, but yeah.
Yeah, so you got the fuck-ups and Snarly, which I'm pretty sure Snarly are a Ballarat band. You're going to say you don't know.
I'm going to say I don't know, and that's because the Gastons who we're coming up with, their manager Carl is, you know, he's pretty much booked most of these venues. I've given him a little bit of help, but most of it he's done, and it's taken a huge pressure off me, for instance, trying to line gigs up to go to Melbourne or Sydney if I know that he can kind of do it. So we're really grateful that, you know, he's done what he's done, but on the flip side of that, a lot of the bands that, you know, he got, we didn't really know of. And in saying that, we don't really know a lot of the punk scene in Sydney and Melbourne. We're just kind of learning it and sort of, you know, just putting it, you know, each foot in front of us and just, you know, sort of seeing where it leads, you know.
Yeah, Sonali are a Ballarat band and they've been around, I reckon, a good 4 to 5 years, possibly longer. So they've done quite a few gigs, so that should be all right. And,
yeah,
of course, the Gadstons. But, like, where would you like to go? I mean, I know you've just put this EP out and you're still just planning, what you're going to do through the year to get out as much as you can. But would you like to work on a debut album, or are you thinking about sticking more to just releasing EPs, or?
Yeah, look, at this point, I'd like to just stick to writing a few EPs. I think that we've got a lot of, we got heaps of music coming out at the moment, just within the band. Like, that's one thing we're certainly not short of is songs. So we've got that many just ready to go that we're really excited to learn and show and, each other. But I think for now we'll just try and quickly just, keep releasing EPs. And then when we do finally get to release a debut album, it'll be something that we've really worked towards, and we would be able to pick, the good songs out of all the EPs and maybe a few different ones. And hopefully by then we would have evolved as a band even more. So that's kind of, at the moment, that's what our thoughts are. We'd like to tour as much as possible. Like, we're going to be really putting our dollars away so that we can get, to different parts of Australia, and we definitely want to look at going overseas and stuff like that. So, nothing's off the cards at the moment. We're working hard to play as many shows and to try and, get to the places that we want to get to, really.
Yeah, goddamn that wind up there.
Yeah, I'm trying to cover it with my hands too.
Well, the EP's only got 4 tracks on it, so when you do come down, of course you're going to be doing more than the 4 tracks. Are you playing some of your older tracks, or have you written some new ones that you're starting to work into your live shows? Do you do any fancy covers?
Look, we have done a few covers. It's not really something that we really dive into very often, mainly because of the fact that we've got other songs that we're eagerly trying to learn. So any spare time that we do have would be rather practicing, doing either a new song or usually, practicing for an up and coming gig, which lately seems to be that every gig that we do is sort of better than the last. So it seems even more important to get that bit more tighter and to try and, become a good unit sort of thing. So, yeah.
So you're all ready for Melbourne then? You're all tight and going to put on your best shows to date?
Yeah, well, I'd like to say that we are. Like we haven't been, in the rehearsal room jamming heaps and stuff, or anything like that coming up to it. But we've certainly been playing, a lot of shows, and mentally we're ready for it. So
and you're feeling more confident as a band.
Well, we are, like when you look at the old EP, for instance, I think we're going to play 1 or 2 songs off of that. And that's mainly because we're a different band. We believe that we're a better band, so it's good that we can, put the EP out and a lot of people like it, but we can confidently feel that, the music that we're going to be playing, for instance, in Melbourne or what we play live now is better than our old stuff. So, that's exciting for us.
And I guess the old stuff didn't have the new lineup in it.
No, it didn't. It was just Josh and I, that was from this lineup, that was in that lineup. We recorded the EP as a 3-piece with Breeze Ills, which was our first drummer, and he had a huge impact on, where SKDP sort of stands today even. And, we're still close to him. It's just he wants to play in a metal band and, like people move on. So, that's kind of what happened there. But the other tour got a huge dynamic to what SKDP is today. Like, we always wanted another guitarist that could jump around with as much energy as, say, what Josh and I did, and we certainly found that. We found a guy who's got more energy than what we do, and that's awesome for us, because we always just thought, if everyone in the band was, going off, that would be great. And we have that now. With Adam, we have a solid drummer that, changes timings and really sort of pushes us to sort of change songs up and not just play the norm sort of verse, chorus, and finish it, or put an interlude or an intro. He sort of pushes us to mix the songs up and change our writing. So, the band has really evolved, and certainly for not just the way we write music now and what we do in the jam room, but even our live show and the shows. We hear it every time we go out for a gig. So
you're a bit wild, and you probably feed off the energy of the crowd as well.
Oh, certainly. I mean, we're going to do it no matter what. We don't care who's there, how many we're playing for. We will give 120% and jump around and be idiots, because that's what SKDP is, and that's what's given us a lot of a lot of our name, is that if you come and watch us, you're not going to get a band that's just going to stand there and play their songs. They're going to play it with passion and all the rest of it. That we're going to try and really push that song onto you, and it doesn't matter who's there. If there's people there and they're going off, then we will probably go from 120 to 125%. Yeah, it's good watching the crowd go off and get into it. And, I really believe that energy like that, it just feeds on each other. So
yeah, I think these days, you don't have to have the best songs or the best voice in the world or anything like that. If you can put on a really full-on live show that people can go to and they can release some energy as well, then that is more than anything.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the amount of musicians out there that you could say that have shit voices or you don't like personally or whatnot. If you listen to Bob Dylan for long enough, his voice will turn, it'll do your head in. But, he like what I heard, I think Dimebag Darrell say one day, he strikes a note and he gets his message across, and somewhat there's magic, and that's what we try and do. And it doesn't have to be for anyone else. It just has to be for ourselves.
Yeah.
And we'll just put it out there and hopefully people will like it.
I wasn't saying that you don't have a good voice either. I didn't mean that.
I don't. That's the thing is I friggin' don't, I've got a shit voice. If I sit there and try and sing, anything, I'll know if I'm out of key, which is probably a plus. And I'll strive to hit those notes, but I certainly know what I can sing, and it's not much. I just, when it comes to our style, I have a different kind of ambience, I guess, and energy. Yeah, it's weird. All the songs I write all start very acoustically and slow, and then when they hit the jam room, they turn a lot harder and quicker. So that's sort of how it happens a bit.
That's good, yeah. And I have heard a bit about your shows, but I'm actually really looking forward to seeing your show. I'm going to be coming down to the Whole Lot of Love on the Saturday afternoon with Blind Man Death Stare, the Gastons, SKDP, Serial Killer Dinner Party, and the Murder Balls.
Yeah, that's going to be a sick show, I can tell you.
Yeah.
I think the Murder Balls, they're from one of the guitarists is from another band that's really good as well. And everyone knows Blind Man Death Stare. The Gastons are seriously, they're one of the my most listened to music at the moment. I mean, I'm pretty much stuck just listening to a lot of local stuff anyway, but they're definitely at the top of the list and get played nearly every night. So, yeah, they'll definitely raise some eyebrows as well.
Well, actually, I'm going to slip backwards a minute because I did sort of miss something that you were saying before that I wanted to mention. The fact that you said your original drummer left because he wanted to be in a heavy metal band, and he's had an effect on who you are today. You can tell that because you call yourself punk, but you're actually quite a heavy punk band.
Yeah, I guess, we've had a few different members. It's the main of it has always been Breezy, we call him, Breezils, Josh and myself, for the start of it at least. Breezy's always had he's always on the double kickers and stuff like that. He's always loved his metal music so that kind of a foundation was set early when we were waiting for months before Josh came up, and so a lot of the songs got written with just myself and him in the jam room, with just me singing and playing bass and him playing drums. So I mean that's always a good foundation anyway to do, because then you can get solid with a drummer. And Breezy's a brilliant drummer. He really is. And you can hear that just by, the way he drums on the EP. But it is definitely a harder style of drumming. And, people have always tried to, tell us what we should play and whether or not we're punk enough, or are we, heavy enough to play this metal gig or whatever it is. And, the music just flows. The two main writers in the band are myself and Luke. And his songs are just as catchy as what mine are. And they kind of just flow within us, I guess. And I don't want to try and change that to try and make it heavier or anything. I just want it to be what it is, because it's kind of working. And as it is, we get songs of sort of all walks. Some are really heavy, some are really punky, some are just rock, and Some are shit, some are good. Yeah.
You're a little bit like Collision. You just got all these different styles you throw together.
Yeah, that's it. I like the punk energy. I love metal. I listen to heaps of metal. For me, playing it and for writing it, for me, and not for everyone, but for me, it just brings up more of a negative energy within myself, where everything I'm writing is more like evil or death or something like that. And I like the energy of punk. It's where I can still, thrash my head around and jump around like an idiot, that feeling that when you listen to metal and you just want to go off. It's the same as, for me, it's the same as punk, but it's just a different energy. And that's why I try and focus a little bit more on the punk side of things.
Well, I have noticed lately, actually, a lot of the heavier festivals and that are mixing together a lot of punk bands and metal bands throughout the festivals. So, that line is, I guess, getting blurred a little bit between punk and metal, and they've realised that they can actually work together well in a gig.
Yeah, well, a lot of the hardcore punk, there's so many different sorts of genres of punk and metal nowadays. I wouldn't even, know half of them. I don't know half of them, but, when I listen to punk bands like Straight Line, their drummer is, so quick on the double kicking, and without the music there, you would think that he was a metal drummer the way he's playing, but it's, like metal drumming with the fast chords of punk, I guess.
Yeah. And then you are next weekend, on the 8th of February, the Friday night, you're at the Bombay Rock. Yeah, the Fuck Ups, the Gastons, Serial Killer Dinner Party and Sonalia opening the night, and that is also free entry. Kicks off at 7 p.m. So, people have got no excuse to actually come out because, it's actually down here, even though we're getting some of the hottest weather we've had in a long time during the day, it is cooling down in the evenings, so people do want to go out. So that's a really good thing.
It's drinking weather, going out and doing their thing. Yeah, it's the time.
It's definitely drinking weather, but in Melbourne, I think any weather is actually drinking weather, so you don't have to worry about that.
Oh, yeah, because you guys have got shit weather all the time, don't you?
Yeah. When it's hot, you want to drink to cool down, and when it's cold, you want to go indoors and drink to keep warm.
Yeah, no, look, I've never been to Melbourne. It looks awesome, to see all the different pubs there and stuff.
But, yeah, so you got to promise me too, on the Saturday, you are playing at Whole Lot of Love, and that one starts at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It only goes till 5. And it's Blind Man Death Stare headlining the Gastons, Serial Killer Death Party and the Murder Balls, and that's also free entry. But I want you to promise me that you'll wait and go on your first tram ride with me after the gig.
Yeah, that's the best thing about it finishing at 5 is that, we're not going home till the next day, so we get to spend a few hours in strolling around and having a bit of an adventure. And, yeah.
Is there something you would like to say to your fans and your possible new fans to get them to not only come out to see your show when you get to Melbourne, but to grab hold of that EP?
Look, if you like punk rock, or if you like rock in general, and you want to come out and see a band that's got energy and is not just going to, be your normal band that's just going to stand there, we try and put something into every show. So hopefully that'll be enough to entice a few people to come out. Because in that regard, we are sometimes a little bit different, and as opposed to the EP, it's just got a bit of everything. The songs that we think are our best, have seem to be not doing as well, to be honest, and. In saying that, that means something to us too, because we can say that one of the songs that isn't doing the best is actually a song that we won in a competition and won the recording from. So that was something pretty cool too, and that was at the very start of SKDP as well, as we just entered a quick song into a competition and won it. So. Yeah.
Well, that's just it. They say that the artists themselves are the worst judge of which songs people are going to like.
Yeah. I guess we probably are, we're listening to it the most anyway, and we've put our heart and soul into it. So when something doesn't go right, or if you don't hear something that you like or something, you're going to jump all over it, I guess.
I'll tell people they can find out more about you at facebook.com/SK. Facebook.com/SKD Party is your official Facebook page.
Yeah.
And
I don't know why I did that.
No.
Anyway, go. Yeah.
You're feeling well, you are a party band, so.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
And
over here as well, SKDP is just as big as Serial Killer Dinner Party. We throw that word around quite a lot, so yeah, it makes it a lot easier for people to say as well.
Yeah,
they think that we're Serial Killer Death Punch.
I wonder who would ever think that.
Some people that think that, not yeah.
The EP and, of course, the single No Prince Charming is available on Apple iTunes. And is it No Prince Charming that you've got up there on Triple J Unearthed?
No, it was No Unknown that we've had up there.
Right.
And, I'm not sure if we've got any others up there. We should probably put a new one up there, I reckon, because I think No Unknown's had its little dash up there now. They got to number one, and people have sort of gotten over it. So let's put another one up there and see how that one goes. And,
I was going to say people who haven't checked you out yet should go and check you out on Triple J Unearthed first and give you a review and help you stay up there at number one. Yeah,
we'll give an honest review. We don't want to be just taking good ratings for nothing. But, if you like us, give us a good rating, and if you don't, well then piss off.
And whatever you do, try and catch one of these shows, because these guys are not only crazy show, which Victorians absolutely love, but they've got really good lineups at both these shows, and they're both free entry. And I'm going to share the events on the Collision Facebook page, but you guys are going to share it on your SKD Party page as well. I guess, you can just type in Serial Killer Dinner Party into Facebook and it'll find you anyway.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully if you write Serial Killer D, that it'll just finish it off. You would hope that there won't be too many other things out there. But there is another band out there who apparently is called Serial Killer Dance Party.
Oh.
So, yeah.
I'm sure they're not the same genre as you.
No, they're not. And, I can say this, that the name does attract some freaks, and we get a lot of weird people messaging us and all that sort of stuff, yeah.
As long as they buy the CD. Tell them to buy the CD first, and then you'll talk to them.
Yeah. Buy the CD. So if you're a serial killer out there, just buy the CD.
Yeah, you'll love it. Yeah. And if you're not a serial killer, just buy the CD and get to the shows.
You'll love it.
These guys
get to the shows.
First time in Melbourne. They've got brilliant lineups and free entry to both gigs. So do make sure you get out to those and go and check out the album's available on iTunes and all digital platforms. And it's, I'd love to get you up in the studio if we could organise it. We'll have a chat about that later.
Yep, always keen.
It has been great talking to you. What track do you want me to play off the EP? What do you want me to play?
I want you to play The Ones.
The Ones, okay. So
The Ones.
Yes.
The Ones is the one.
The Onesies.
The onesies. It has nothing to do with onesies.
No, I know. I'm being silly now. I'm just.
Look, we might have to chuck this one in our set list anyway. And yeah, come to the show, check us out, stay low, and have a beer with us.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you very much for your time, Lee. And I look forward to talking to you again. But I look more forward to seeing you in Melbourne next weekend.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and look, thanks very much, Kat. Anytime.
Thank you.